Hey guys, Maybe Around 20 back again, and today we're here at Sell It Again in Ashtabula, Ohio. We're going to be interviewing the owner of this place. He used to work at GameStop, and he's been kind enough to let me in to go ahead and interview him and ask him some questions that some of you guys have been asking me that I really can't answer. So let's go ahead and interview this guy and see what he has to say. Okay guys, here we are with the owner of Sell It Again, and you just recently acquired this, is that correct?
Yes.
Well, congratulations. By the way, before we start this interview, would you like to go ahead and talk about your business and promote it here?
We're located at 2875 in Ashtabula, Ohio, North Ridge Road. We do a lot of buy, sell, electronics, gaming, anything along those lines. So.
Well, congratulations, man, because there ain't too many places like this anymore. As you guys know, we're going to like a digital era, so it's nice to see these mom and pop shops popping up here. So the first question I got is, how long did you actually work for GameStop?
I worked at GameStop about 2.5 years.
All right, 2.5 years. And what ultimately made you decide to go ahead and leave the company?
Personally, I like the company and everything like that. I just thought that the way that they go about their selling process wasn't really the way that you should go about selling things sometimes.
I would have to agree with you 100%. I don't know if you've ever seen any of my videos, but yeah, that's one of my biggest complaints with GameStop. So do you agree with the GameStop selling used open games at new prices? Now, what I mean by this is, I know since you worked at GameStop, I'm sure you've seen sometimes you'll get the last copy and it's the display model, and then they'll like thumb through the filing cabinet, pull out the game, put it in there, put a little sticker on the steel and say, here you go, $60. Now, what do you think about that?
Yeah, so what the rule is that if they have a bunch of the sealed copies in the case, and if it's the last one, they have to put it out on display or somebody won't be able to find that copy out there. But at that point, it is opened, the seal is off and everything like that. So I kind of don't really understand how that works because it's not new anymore once it's opened.
Yeah, and people also told me that working at GameStop, sometimes you get privileges where you can actually take that display model home and play it to get familiar with the game. Is that true?
So at least the one here, you were only allowed to do that with used games. I don't know if they let you do that now with newer games or not, but I also haven't been there in about 2 years or so now.
Okay, fair enough. Now, is there a quota of pre-orders employees must achieve each week? Because I know when you go into GameStop, you get bombarded with the upselling and stuff like that. So is there some type of quota that corporate or managers are like, hey, you got to hit this so many quota before, per week, per month, anything like that?
So they definitely, every week or month, it changes by a percentage. But when I was there, what they wanted you to do was they wanted you to hit a certain percent of your sales for pre-owned. They did want you to hit a certain amount of pre-orders, but you didn't really get punished for it. But they would also be like, okay, like your pre-orders are kind of low. Are you not mentioning? Are you not, letting people know about the new games, things like that?
Yeah, because I would get a lot of comments from people that worked at GameStop saying that if they didn't hit so many pre-orders and their numbers weren't good, they didn't hit certain goals, they would cut their hours. Is that true?
The hour cut never happened to me, but also at the GameStop here, the hours were very slim in general. Like barely anybody ever got any hours. And if you weren't doing well, I can't see them giving you hours. I currently have a friend that works over there that's kind of
struggling? Or?
Yeah, he's maybe worked 1 day in the last 4 months.
That's just horrible. I don't know how they expect anyone to, work. I'm glad you got your own thing going on, man. That's for sure. Now, let's see. Why do you think GameStop hardly ever does midnight releases for Nintendo games and consoles? Because I know as a Nintendo fan, when like Smash Brothers came out and stuff like that, they didn't do a midnight release, and they told me that the demand wasn't there. Now, we all know Smash Brothers, the demand is there. So, like, what do they just not like Nintendo, or what do you think the whole process? Now, we're talking about, guys, a little disclaimer, we're not talking about all GameStops, just my local GameStop. What do you feel like, why don't they, like, kind of promote Nintendo stuff?
That I don't really know. As far as I knew at this one, for there to be a midnight release, they would want you to hit a certain amount of pre-orders. So if for like Spider-Man, I remember there was like, I think 80 or 90 pre-orders. So I think the quota for that one was like 60, and they would do a midnight or 50 or things like that. If they only have like 10 to 20 pre-orders, I'm pretty sure they don't do midnights, but I would think that Smash would have had.
Yeah, you would think, man. There was we went round and round. That's why I typically don't really go to GameStop anymore. Now, do you think GameStop gives fair prices when you sell your used games? Because obviously I went into GameStop before, And I'll be honest, guys, I've gone into GameStop to sell certain things, and I mean, I come here to sell my stuff most of the time now because this guy. I mean, do I not?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, this guy gives me, more than GameStop does, and I just feel like it's more fair here. So, can you do the thought process why you think GameStop does this? Is it just because they're just failing, as a business, or what?
Well, as a business, I mean, for most businesses, you kind of do have to buy low and sell high, but with their pricing, I'm not like, for me to survive here, I have to look up what GameStop gives and give like a 10% increase. Otherwise, I personally wouldn't make it. But with the way that they go about, they're not really sure, you could buy a $60 game and then you take it back. It's typically like 15 to 17, like 3 days later. I typically try to give 25 if a new game just came out this week, things like that, because in here I have to sell it for 45 and, I don't make much money, but the whole point is to have those games in. I'm not really sure what their price. It seems like they give more for retro stuff nowadays than they do for the new games. I don't know if you've noticed that at all.
Yeah, it's really weird. And this question I have is, why do you think GameStop is closing stores around the world, and what do you think they would need to change to actually turn it around, make a comeback, and make it a place where people actually goes and buy games now? Because now if you go into a GameStop, you see pop figures, you see collectibles. I mean, where's the games? I mean, I know they're doing this to try to turn the business around, but what do you think GameStop has to do as a company to actually get those gamers back?
So, honestly, a lot of people have moved to digital gaming now, just for the reason where you don't have to walk into a store and get questioned, videos shoved in your face. You want a pro card? You want pre-owned to this? Do you want to pre-order that? It's a lot easier. You don't have to wait in line. I think for them to get back into it, they need to somehow switch up their whole selling process. I think the asking people with too many questions and I don't know if you've ever seen that tablet they have, but they got to carry around a tablet and show people videos and things like that. And I just think that most people have came over here and been like, yeah, they're just, I can't just shop. They're asking me too much stuff. I think they need to figure out a middle ground of where they can hit their numbers, but also stop turning people away by pressuring them into buying things. The digital market doesn't help either, because for me personally, like, I own my own store, but sometimes I don't want to leave my house at midnight and wait in line. So I mean, I probably shouldn't support digital with what I have going on, but sometimes you just don't want to have to go.
Oh, I get it. I'm that gamer that likes to go to a midnight release because, like, it's not just just not the game. It's like the experience. You get to see, hang out with other gamers, and talk and stuff like that. So, is there any GameStop stories that you would personally like to share, whether it be with like a altercation with a customer, maybe a heated argument with like a manager, anything like that, or would you rather not discuss anything?
As far as the local one goes here, I personally like all of the staff over there. The customers, there's a lot of rules where, in most jobs, if a customer goes off on you, you can't typically, obviously, be rude back to them exactly. But, so, I mean, it kind of just fell along those lines there as well as most stores. You can't yell at a customer. You can't, they're always right. But as far as the staff goes here, I like all of the workers. It's just the company itself. I think that their ideas and the way that they go about selling. And truthfully, a lot of the employees that I've talked to from multiple GameStops, they don't want to do that stuff. It's like the company tells them they have.
Yeah, it's like they have to, or they're going to lose hours or stuff like that.
You have to do it because that's your job. It's kind of like if you're a salesman, you got to sell.
Now, the last question I got for you is, would you recommend working at GameStop?
If you really like gaming and you kind of just want to get your foot in the door of a place where you can discuss gaming with people and then move that into something else, yes. If you're looking for a job where you think it's just about gaming and, you're talking to people about gaming, that's not the case. It's a lot of, marketing, a lot of selling, a lot of learning how to use your words to make what you're selling sound good. It's not it's not the worst job, but, if you're thinking it's just a place where I can work, hang out, and talk about gaming, that's not really all it is.
Yeah, you'd be getting your hours cut and stuff like that. So yeah.
I mean, it's a good, like I said, personally, I like everyone over at our GameStop, but as far as the company as a whole, I think they need to regroup and figure out how to market a little better than just product pushing.
I agree 100%. Well, thank you so much for your time, man. Congratulations on the new on actually purchasing this place. I know you've been working here for a while, but you actually just acquired it. So congratulations, man. I wish you all the success, and thank you for the interview, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep. That's pretty much all for right now, guys. And as always, there'll be more to come shortly. Thanks again. Thanks for watching my video, guys. I definitely do appreciate it. I now have official Van Buren 20 merch beneath all my videos. I will also have a link below in the description box for anyone looking to help support the channel. The merch comes in all different sizes and colors, so definitely go ahead and check it out. That's pretty much all for right now, guys, and as always, there'll be more to come shortly. Thanks again.